Have you ever felt like you've hit rock bottom? Like you're in a crisis so deep, there's just no way out? Today, we're going to dive into this amazing story of reversal in Psalm 6. It's a wild journey, from the absolute depths of despair to this incredible shout of triumph. So let's see what this ancient poem can show us about how to get through our own darkest times.
So check this out. The whole psalm really pivots on this one massive shift. It kicks off with maybe the most desperate question anyone can ask. How long, Lord? But then, just a few verses later, you get this completely solid, confident statement. The Lord has heard my plea. So the big question for us is, how in the world does someone make that jump? How do you go from that kind of hopeless question to that kind of certainty? All right, so before we can really appreciate the victory, we've got to understand the pain. And the first part of this psalm, well, it doesn't pull any punches. It takes us right down into the abyss. Wow. I mean, just feel the raw physical reality of this. This is not just some poetic idea. The writer is talking about a sorrow that's so deep, it's physically exhausting him. He's talking about a bed literally soaked with tears. It's a picture of complete hopelessness that, let's be honest, a lot of us can probably relate to. And you see here, it's not just some internal sadness he's fighting. He mentions foes. So he's got actual enemies, real-world pressures coming at him. So you've got this inner pain and this outer attack happening at the same time. I mean, talk about feeling trapped. There is literally nowhere to run. And then, bam, everything flips out of nowhere with no change in his situation that we can see. The whole tone just shifts. It goes from pure desperation to this powerful, confident declaration of faith. This is it. This is the turning point of the whole story. And here it is, the first of 3 bold statements. Notice he doesn't say, I hope God hurt me, or I think he might have. No, it is a statement of fact. My weeping, the very thing that felt so isolating, has been heard. The certainty here is just absolute. And he says it again just a little differently. The Lord has heard my plea. Now, a theologian like John Calvin would point out that this isn't just him being repetitive. This is intentional. It's like the psalmist is building himself up, you know? He's reinforcing his own confidence to fight back against all that despair. And he sticks the landing with a third, final declaration, the Lord accepts my prayer. You see the progression, right? First his weeping was heard, then his specific request, and now his prayer is accepted. This makes it crystal clear that the turning point wasn't his situation changing. It was his perspective changing, all because of this one powerful belief. I have been heard. And this, right here, is the heart of the whole thing. The psalmist is basically drawing a line in the sand. He's saying his rescue has only one source. It's not coming from people, it's not luck, it's not him just being strong enough. It is only the Lord, because he's the one who hears, and therefore he's the only one who can actually act. This brings up a really good question for us, though. If this guy is so laser-focused on one source of help, where do we usually turn when we're in trouble? Let's take a look at some of the common go-tos that maybe aren't as reliable as we think. Yeah, we all have them. We might put our trust in money, what some people call the god of wealth. Or maybe we hope in something a little vaguer, like luck or just putting good vibes out into the universe. Maybe we try to call in a favor with powerful people we know, or we just trust that we can tough it out on our own. But the real question is, can any of these things truly save us from our deepest fears? This is such a sharp critique. It really gets at how these false saviors often end up demanding more from us than they ever give back. Take the pursuit of wealth, for example. It can totally trap you in this anxious cycle of always needing more, but it never gives you a real answer for the big questions in life. Questions about meaning, or suffering, or what happens in the end. So, what does it actually look like to follow the psalmist's lead today? Well, we have this incredible modern-day story that shows these exact same ideas playing out during a real-life family emergency. Okay, so here's the timeline. Aping's mother has a serious fall, breaks a bone, and it's right before a big family trip. But the very first thing that happens, a message goes out to a prayer group. And then things just start clicking into place. A hospital bed opens up, surgery is scheduled, and just a couple days later, the surgery's a success. I love this quote from Aping after it was all over. It was a total God team, God rescue. It's such a modern phrase, but it perfectly captures that feeling, doesn't it? It wasn't just that the doctors were skilled. It was this sense that a divine power was organizing everything. The doctors, the nurses, the timing, for the best possible outcome. And this right here is the key, the part that's just like Psalm 6. The family's first instinct wasn't to start frantically calling everyone they knew asking, "Who do you know at the hospital?" Nope. Their very first move was to ask for prayer, placing their trust in God's help above any other human resource. So, this powerful declaration of faith leads directly to the psalm's grand finale, which is this complete reversal of fortunes. And let's be real, we are all wired to love a good comeback story, and that is exactly what we get right here. What's amazing is that the suffering doesn't just disappear, it gets transferred. The psalmist who was filled with shame and fear is now secure. And his enemies, the ones who were causing all the trouble, they are now the ones who are overwhelmed with shame and have to retreat. The tables are completely, totally turned. You know, this whole idea of a great reversal connects to that famous story Jesus told about the rich man and the beggar, Lazarus. In life, their situations were polar opposites, but after they die, their fortunes are completely reversed. It's this powerful reminder that our circumstances right now, they're not always the final word.
And this is really why this ancient psalm still matters so much. Trusting in an ultimate rescuer gives you a whole new lens to see your life through. It suggests that your current suffering, no matter how real and how painful it is, it doesn't cancel out the possibility of a future filled with joy and victory. It's the belief that your story isn't over yet.
And so that leaves us with one final big question to think about. We all have a story with a good ending. When it comes to your own life story, what kind of ending are you hoping for? And where or in who are you placing your trust to get you there?